How are you guys today? I hope all of you got some sun, or if you're on the West Coast, you're still getting some sun. Maybe you're listening to the live stream. It's been really hot and sunny these past 2 days, and unlike most of this summer, I didn't notice them spraying too much stuff in the air to block the UVB rays in the sun. I guess they figured that if it's 100 degrees outside, not too many people are going to be outside laying in the sun. So maybe I can catch a couple more days of sun this week. It's definitely not fun, and it's difficult to stay cool, but no other way to get in your vitamin D3. But how are you guys today? Thank you for joining me. I hope you guys enjoyed the vegan critique video we did earlier. Unfortunately, they've been keeping an eye on my channel, and that gets instantly copyrighted and demonetized. They get the money for it, and we do have to be careful with certain videos that we are watching today. Just make sure that we don't choose a channel that gets us taken down. So if you guys do have any videos you'd like to suggest, or anything you've seen in the past week or two, definitely let me know in the chat. Making Frankie's Free Range Meat beef belly in the Traeger smoker. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. Frankie's Free Range Meat, we have a lot of products that no one else sells. Like if you want to buy lamb brains online, like we're the only company that really sells brains. The beef belly, no one else sells beef belly in general. That was a cut we're really happy to get. And not only are we selling beef belly, it's 100% grass fed. Freeze-dried food may not be good for you, but you really need to. Well, I mean, it depends on what you're freeze-drying. But let's get started. Let's take a look at the videos that have been posted in the past week or so. I saw an Earthling Ed video, but for some reason, Earthling Ed and Mike the Vegan, anytime we end up trying to watch their videos, it's just so boring. We don't get through it at all. We never get through it. So
Jon Stewart, the ex-host of The Daily Show, was recently on Joe Rogan's podcast. Now, Jon and his wife are both vegan, and they run an animal sanctuary in the US together. So as you'd expect, Jon's veganism became a topic of conversation on the podcast. So before we go through the clip today, look through what it is that Joe is saying as a rebuttal to Jon.
So Earthling Ed is an agent. He's for the new agenda. He's being paid. Every aspect of what he does is scripted and orchestrated. I guess the question to address and ask here would be, what are they trying to do? What agenda are they trying to push? To them, everything that comes out of their mouth is just to control and manipulate the public, and the average person takes what they're saying for granted. But once you understand who these people are and what these people do, and that they're being paid to say every single thing that they say and do, it makes it boring. Like, well, if everyone's paid off, then what's the point?
And go through Joe's arguments. Now, because it's Joe Rogan, obviously it's going to be centered around hunting, so I'm going to address the hunting arguments a lot in this.
What would you do if Joe Rogan invited you all of a sudden? I would never be on the Joe Rogan podcast because it's a CIA operation, and the majority of the guests on the Joe Rogan podcast, a lot of them are ex-CIA members. I mean, if you've noticed, he has a lot of military on his podcast. Jocko Willink, a lot of the carnivores were ex-military.
This video, so let's get into it. But before we do, I just want to say that I don't have time to go through Jon's arguments, and he makes some good points throughout the clip. But the thing I think is important to mention that Jon does. He
literally looks like a girl with a beard. Someone told me that he was there was a possibility that he's a biological female. I didn't really look at his hands and stuff.
Is that James Wilks, the producer of the Game Changers documentary, was also recently on Joe Rogan's podcast. Now, as a result of James Wilks being on the podcast, Joe Rogan himself admitted that you can be perfectly healthy on a vegan, plant-based diet. And I think that's really important to mention as we go into the video, but let's get into it and let's see what it is that Joe says.
Do you have moral qualms about meat, or do you not? Like you said, we're hunters, and
this is what's this guy's name again?
And that, is that ever an issue for you, or is it purely a health issue? Or is it?
There's both things. There's a health issue. There is a moral qualm with factory farming. There's not a moral qualm with hunting, because I know the reality of the life of a deer. If you don't kill that deer, it's going to die a horrible death from a wolf or a coyote or a mountain lion or whatever the gets a hold of it. It's going to freeze to death. You can either die.
Did you guys see Joe's clip where he was pushing the fake steaks, saying, "Oh yeah, it's going to be great. The steaks are going to be the exact same as meat that are made in a laboratory"?
quickly by the hand of a person, you will respect that life and it'll nurture your body and the bodies of your family. Our problem is a disconnection more than anything.
Okay, so straight off the bat, what we have is one of the biggest paradoxes in the arguments that hunters use. Because one of the main arguments that hunters use is the one that Joe's just used here, that by killing these animals, he's doing an altruistic thing. He's helping them because,
as we've said many times on this channel, we've debunked the moral and environmental aspects of a vegan diet over and over again. The negative health stuff is more obvious, but you know, they never bring up how many animals, rodents, insects are killed just in factory farming. How much life has to be killed. We've talked about that in our moral videos, but just, you know, tilling the soil, the actual animals that are physically killed by these cropping machines, that's not nearly as significant as the animals that die off when you remove their food supply. You know, imagine you're growing acres and acres and acres and acres of corn, wheat, sorghum, whatever crop, and then suddenly you harvest it all, and the animals that were living in those fields starve to death.
they'll be killed by predators or die in not very nice ways. And so in their eyes, it's morally preferable to kill these animals rather than let the environment and ecosystems do what they would normally do. But this then juxtaposes the second main argument the hunters use, which is that by hunting, they're helping to try and restore the natural ecology because the food chains are messed up and the ecosystems are messed up. And so by hunting, they're helping to deal with overpopulation and restoring the ecology. But those two ideas cannot be held simultaneously, because if you're in favor of the ecology and conservation, then by default, you want wild predators killing wild prey, which contradicts the altruistic argument, which says that they kill these animals to stop them from being killed by wild predators. Joe also makes the argument that when he kills these animals, they are nurturing and providing for him and his family. But what relevance does this have? Because when a wolf kills a deer or an elk or a moose, the meat from the animals they've killed will also provide for them and their family or their pack. And so
I mean, this whole agenda has nothing to do with being right and wrong. This whole agenda is to just, Earthling Ed will say whatever he can to just convince people to stop eating meat, because once you stop eating meat, you have neurological issues, which makes you easier to control. And wolves and predatory animals don't kill for sustenance for their, for their pack or whatever. You know, you can find, if you ever hear a farmer on YouTube talk about sheep or his flock of animals, and how he has to have guard dogs or fencing to protect his animals, they'll tell stories about how, if a coyote or if a wolf or any animal gets into that flock of sheep, they will kill them all for sport. Any type of animal, especially when they get into like a sheep flock, a herd of sheep, that wolf will kill, 20, 30, 40, 50 sheep. They'll kill all the sheep there are just for the hell of it. They're not going to kill one sheep and take it back to eat it. That's not what these animals do. They're relying on instinct.
So the dynamic of provision and nurturing as a consequence of hunting is the same for the wild animals as it is for Joe. And so it doesn't provide any moral credibility for Joe hunting himself. In fact, it actually does the opposite, right? Because these predators in the wild still have to hunt and kill. And so when Joe kills an animal in the wild, he's not stopping the predators from killing an animal. He's contributing an extra death because the predators still have to hunt and kill themselves. But there's a big difference, right? Which is that hunters will kill the strongest animals they can find, the most impressive animals, the animals with the biggest antlers, the strongest animals. But that's not what happens in the wild. Normally, predators will kill the weak and the sick animals. And so actually what Joe's doing is something really dangerous that's having a knock-on effect to the ecology and to the evolution of species. For example, bighorn sheep have seen the size of their horns decrease in the past 30 years. And there are now fewer Asian and African elephants that have tusks. But how does that make sense? Because these attributes are normally signifiers of a species that is being prosperous, because these attributes would normally be beneficial for those animals. However, in the modern world, these attributes are seen as being detrimental to these animals because it makes them more likely and susceptible to be killed by human hunters. And so actually by hunting these animals, Joe and people like him are doing the opposite of what should be happening in nature. They're creating a transgression in the development of animals rather than a progression. And so hunting is incredibly detrimental to the natural ecology.
This dude is full of BS. Yeah, it's kind of like, it must be nice to be able to just make every single thing you say up and pretend it's true and then orient arguments around it.
And even if we take Joe's argument on face value, he killed a bear when he was in Canada. So let's take Joe's argument on face value that he's been altruistic to protect these animals from being killed by predators. What predator was Joe protecting that bear from when he killed them with a bow and arrow? Also, another important point to make is that when these animals are killed in the wild or die, you create something called a closed metabolic cycle. And what that means is the animals...
Do you guys have matching haircuts? I don't think so. I don't have a part in the middle of my head that makes me look like a fairy boy bitch.
Aren't just eaten by the predators who've killed them, they're also eaten by opportunistic scavengers, by insects, and their bodies become part of the soil and the vegetation. It creates a full cycle. But when hunters go into the wild, kill animals, and remove them from the wild, you have an open...
The mafia used to literally bring pigs into the scene of a murder to eat the corpse clean and get rid of the evidence, but pigs are cute, cuddly animals. I really don't like pigs. If you guys have ever been around pigs or near a pig farm, they'll start biting you when you're alive. Like if you go in the pig pen, they'll try to eat you. I don't know how those animals think, but they just, I don't know if it's how they've bred them. It's just how pigs are. But pigs literally just are like eating machines. They just want to eat everything. That's all they do. I think a bear is very similar to that.
Metabolic cycle, which means that the natural ecology is suffering as a consequence of what these hunters are doing. But I think what's most disingenuous...
A brown bear. So you think the bear was your boyfriend? I see why you're pissed, Earthling Ed. You think Earthling Ed is into hairy dudes? Hairy fat dudes? What do you think? What kind of dude do you think is Earthling Ed's type?
About the altruistic argument is just how deceitful and deceptive it is. Because if you're being altruistic, it's saying that you're doing something that maybe comes at a detriment to yourself, but you realize there's a beneficial purpose which makes it worthwhile, even if from your own individualistic perspective, it hurts you and can be painful for you. An example would be people who euthanize dogs in veterinary clinics. So these animals come in, they've got terminal cancer, they're suffering, and the right thing to do is to euthanize these dogs. Now, no vet is...
I know one guy that fell in a pig pen and got his ear bit off. Yeah, honestly, I don't know if I would even want to get pigs on my farm.
Is ever going to claim that that's something they enjoy doing, but they recognize that it's an altruistic thing to do because it reduces suffering. Now imagine if at the end of a shift where a vet had euthanized several dogs who were dying from terminal cancer and couldn't survive any longer. Imagine if at the end of the day they posted a picture on their social media of a pile of dead dogs that they've killed, and they're smiling and talking about what a wonderful day that they've had, because that's what hunters do.
That dude needs some sun. Every single vegan on YouTube needs some sun. Even just people in general on YouTube need sun. I mean, the vast majority of the population doesn't go outside, and especially YouTubers and people that make their living online.
They say they're killing these animals for an altruistic reason, but they enjoy it, they look forward to it, they call it a sport, they glamorize it, and they take pictures smiling and beaming over the animals they've killed for altruistic reasons to show the world how much they care about these animals they're killing. And plus, if we want to be morally consistent with the argument that Joe is making, we could easily make the claim that most animals...
I mean, you know, he's been going on for 5 minutes about an argument that's debunked in about 30 seconds of explaining that you're still killing animals and life when you grow vegetables. So you can't argue that killing animals for meat doesn't make sense. And again, once you realize the truth, once you realize what's actually going on in the world, things become boring because, all right, well, if all of these arguments are fake and made up, what is there to actually argue about? Tuning into the stream to be faced with the hottest vegan lady of 2020. I don't think Earthling Ed gets that title.
In the wild suffer, and most of them won't have nice deaths. In fact, we understand that nature is often a very cruel and horrible place. And so to use Joe's argument, we would say that it's morally consistent, therefore, to...
Vegans are so deep into misinfo, they literally fear the sun and won't go outside because of skin cancer. I mean, that's everyone, though. It's not... Veganism ties into conventional wisdom a lot. A lot of conventional wisdom is also vegan. So, you know, my family, my parents... My mom and my dad are afraid of the sun. They won't go in the sun. The modern media has done an excellent job at convincing people that what's healthy is actually bad for you. I should probably do a video pointing out all these aspects. I think I might have. I don't know if I've done a specific video touching on it in the past, but the title of the video would probably be something along the lines of, you know, we've been tricked. You know, it's comical how they've convinced us what's unhealthy is healthy and what's healthy is unhealthy.
kill nearly every single animal in the wild, because most animals in the wild will either suffer throughout their whole life or at least for a predominant part of their life. But we don't believe that we should wipe out all wild animals just because nature can be cruel and involves suffering. Of course we don't. And neither does Joe. But what Joe's doing is he's applying this argument very conveniently just to the animals that he's interested in killing. He's not interested in protecting all the animals that he doesn't want to personally kill and eat. Their suffering in the wild apparently doesn't matter. But when it comes to the animals that he personally wants to kill,
we've touched on how Earthling Ed is an actor, but Joe Rogan being an actor is probably just trying to appeal to as many people as possible and maintain as large of an audience as possible to push his bullshit. You know, one video Joe's talking about shooting an elk. The next video Joe's talking about how lab steaks are going to be great.
all of a sudden he cares about whether or not they're suffering and how they're going to die if he doesn't kill them himself.
You know,
these arguments are simply a facade.
One video Joe talks about how you need to get nutrition from meat and how a vegan diet's lacking nutrition. And the next video he's talking about how you need to use a palate expander to fix your face and not get nutrients. I missed the Perfected Health podcast. Yeah, unfortunately, we haven't been able to have any guests lately, as you know, the majority of popular people on YouTube are special interest shills. There was one guy I kind of wanted to get on my podcast. Maybe I'll reach out. I'll reach out to him and see if he wants to do one.
To try and mask the fact that hunters hunt because they enjoy hunting, not for altruistic or for beneficial reasons to the animals that they kill. Of course, that's not true. And actually, in the society that we live in, if people think that others are killing animals because they enjoy it, that's seen as being a wholly negative thing. People don't like other people that kill animals just for fun or just for sport. But whatever way hunters want to dress it up, that is what they're doing. They're killing for pleasure and for sport because they enjoy it. It's not because they're trying to be altruistic and they think they're actually doing something beneficial for the environment, which we will...
Well, Earthling Ed, do you play with boys for pleasure? Wait, I don't know where I was going with that. Never mind.
Come on to in just a moment. And just a final point on this section is it's also disingenuous for hunters to...
All right, Earthling Ed, you use your power and influence to play with boys and you scar them emotionally. So what's wrong with someone hunting animals? I mean, I'd rather get a bullet to my head than play with Earthling Ed. All right, that's up in the air, but you guys get my point.
To make the claim that when they kill the animals, it's quick and painless, the animal knows nothing about it, because that's not true either, and hunters know that. There are many times where hunters cause great suffering to these animals, where it's not just this clean kill that hunters like to portray. That is not the truth. There are many ex-hunters that talk about this.
Do we think Earthling Ed has a bunch of vegan boys chained up in his basement right now? He's got some like mansion in London and in
as well. And so it's completely disingenuous for hunters to try and claim that it's this very simple binary that when they kill the animals, it's painless and there's no suffering and it's fine and wonderful.
And I think that there's a lot of people that share your position on animal death. And I think that's one of the more promising aspects of laboratory created meat. As long as it can be done in a way that's actually going to be healthy for us. It seems like there's some real science behind that. And they're very, very close to releasing that on a large scale. So it would be actual meat that doesn't come with death, which is really fascinating.
If you
listen to that bullshit. Let's play that again. I should probably make a video on that BS.
Promising aspects of laboratory created meat, as long as it can be done in a way that's actually going to be healthy for us. It's death. And I think that's one of the more promising aspects of laboratory on animal death. And I think that's...
Sorry, I'm just trying to get the
video. The animals, it's painless and there's no suffering and it's fine and wonderful.
And I think that there's a lot of people that share your position on animal death. And I think that's one of the more promising aspects of laboratory created meat. As long as it can be done in a way that's actually going to be healthy for us. It seems like there's some real science behind that. And they're very, very close to releasing that on a large scale. So it would be actual meat that doesn't come with death, which is really fascinating.
If you could still...
The reason they don't tell the truth about nutrition, the reason, you know, very intelligent people like Chris Kresser have been on the Joe Rogan podcast and don't actually talk about vitamins, minerals, and nutrients is because if people actually developed an understanding of what was healthy, they would never be able to pass off this fake meat bullshit nonsense. Maybe I should do an updated video on that. He's reading from a script. He probably is. It's Bob 10 minutes ago. Sorry, Mr. $1. If I wanted to combine fats and carbs for energy, what would be the optimal macronutrient ratio for this? Thanks. That's a very difficult question to answer. I might have a video up a couple of years back about order of satiety and food palatability. That might answer your question.
Still have the part of meat that you like, but it came without death, do you think you would make that switch, or is that something that?
Well, I certainly would with domestic animals.
Right.
The difference between that and hunting, there's a conservation aspect of it.
Right.
One thing that leads to protection of wildlife habitat is actually the money that comes from hunting tags and hunting equipment. There's that. There's also the type of relationship you have with your food when you actually work very hard and hunt it and kill it is very different than buying food from a store. You know, if I shoot an elk, I eat it literally for a year. So one animal death equals like a year of my meals.
Now, it's really positive, undeniably, that Joe says that he would eat lab-grown meat over domesticated farmed animals, because what he's conceding by saying this is that when you have the choice between not killing and killing, it is preferable to not kill in that situation. And the thing is that
I haven't seen an intelligent discussion about, you know, it seems like they're pretending that animals don't die in plant agriculture. By not disclosing all parts of the story, it's like these, you know, almost 8 minutes we've listened to Earthling Ed talk so far are just worthless if you're ignoring the biggest part of the argument. You're only addressing, you know, parts of the truth.
that's the situation that Joe lives in every day. As we've already established, he admitted himself that you can be healthy on a plant-based diet, and so there's no necessity for him to kill animals. And so actually, he has that choice every single day. And even if we just take the hunted argument out of it and deal with that in a minute, what argument, therefore, does Joe have for killing and eating domesticated animals? Because he does eat and kill domesticated animals as well. But if he concedes that factory farming is morally a problem, or animal farming in general is morally a problem, and that we don't have to, and it's preferable not to if we don't have to, then what justification does he have?
But Frank, who cares about bugs? I mean, you have all types of rodents, small mammals that live in fields. You know, birds die too because the birds were living off of those smaller mammals. A lot of animals that eat insects. But again, you know, if you just dismiss this video off the bat and say, oh, well, both Joe Rogan and Earthling Ed are paid shills, I mean, we can have a little bit of fun to try to see what agendas they're pushing. Enough gaslighting to fuel a Chinese New Year? No, it's just lie after lie after lie. You know, it's like when an intelligent person listens to these people, they're like, what are you even saying? It doesn't make any sense.
Have to continue eating farmed animals. And so now let's address the arguments that he makes about hunting in this bit as well. And so the first thing I wanted to address is this idea that when hunters kill an animal, the animal provides them food for a year. That's what Joe says. He kills an elk, the elk provides him meat for a year. But this is completely nonsensical, because hunters don't just eat the one animal for an entire year. They eat other animals they've hunted. They eat farmed animals, like we just said Joe does, and they also eat plants as well. And so this argument doesn't hold up because it's not true. They don't just eat that one animal for an entire year. So again, it's just so disingenuous to make that claim. And then
Andrea says, Earthling Ed is kind of hot. If he moisturized his lips, gained some weight, and had a different haircut. All right, Andrea, we're going to have to put you in the gulag for a few minutes.
The other claim that's made is that he has an affinity with the animal that non-hunters just simply won't understand. And how often do we hear this from hunters? They say they have this relationship with nature and with the animals, and they have a deep respect for them as they hide in bushes, dressed in camouflage with a scope on a rifle, waiting for an unsuspecting deer to walk in front of them so they can pull the trigger and show how much they respect the natural world and respect the animal they've just mercilessly gunned down. It doesn't matter if you think you have some deeper connection with the natural world or the animals. That is simply not true. And the argument that Joe's making here is that as long as you have a personal attachment to what you're doing and see some benefit for yourself, therefore it's morally acceptable to do that thing, which is of course something that none of us actually agree with. And I'm sure if the deer could talk to the hunters, they would probably say that maybe it's not the most respectful thing in the world that they could do to kill them needlessly. These hunters driving to the middle of rural areas in jeeps.
It's like he dials in on an argument and gaslights people on it to get people to accept the argument is the truth.
And SUVs and pickup trucks, dressed in camouflage with high-tech weaponry, to go out into the rural area for a day, to kill some animals, drive out again, go back to where they live and claim they have some deeper connection with the natural world. It's so absurd and it's so insidious.
You think he sneaks in animal foods? I mean, the reasoning for that is, well, these people are paid actors and liars, so I'm sure they wouldn't have a problem eating a steak in their spare time. You know,
they make this claim, because obviously it's just completely nonsensical. Now, the hunting licenses funding conservation efforts is actually an interesting point, and it's a good point that Joe's raised, except that the amount of money that's given towards conservation efforts from hunting tags and hunting licenses is insignificant. It's so minuscule and small. In fact,
Who calls that peach fuzz on Ed's face a beard? I mean, it's a pretty good beard for a female.
it's predicted that only 3% or even less than 3% of the funding for the national wildlife refuges in the US comes from hunting tags and licenses, which means it's such a small amount. What we have to understand about hunting licenses is they exist to make people rich and for people to make money from them. That's why they exist. The money's not pumped back into making sure.
That's why the vegan diet exists too, to stuff people. Did we ever make a video talking about how the vegan diet is partially a repurposed standard American diet? So hold on, these are two videos we have to make. One is vegan diet is repurposed standard American, and then another diet is we've been lied to. We believe the opposite of healthy is healthy.
Sure conservation efforts are propelled and put forward, and that the interests of the natural ecology is placed as being the most important thing. That is simply not true. And I'll show you an example of why that's not true in just a moment. But actually, an interesting point is that wildlife watchers generate vastly more income for the natural world than hunters ever have or ever will. In fact, only about 5% of the US population claim to be hunters. And so if you eliminated...
I mean, why do you care about money? The Fed can print money and do whatever they want with it. So it's another illusion that's created to get people to do certain things. And this is a lot of, what's going on in the world right now with the Toyota Corolla is the extreme example of this. Oh, you need to stay locked in your home for 6 months and wear a mask and suffocate yourself when you go outside for the safety of everyone else. But when there's Black Lives Matter protests in New York City and 10,000 people are huddled together, they don't get sick. On the lesser scale, this is what the vegan diet is about. Oh, you need to deprive yourself of meat and rot your brain away for the environment, for the animals, when in reality that's fake. One factory run by these corporate assholes is gonna, I bet you one factory in any part of the world is gonna have more of a negative impact on the environment than every human being combined in regards to what they're eating.
Hunting and instead advocated for people to engage in more wildlife watching activities, you could easily raise the money that's lost from hunting tags and licenses for conservation just by encouraging more people to engage into the...
I think it's time to move on to something else. It's already been half an hour focused on this clown. So we can go to the comments. So top comments. And just a bunch of brainwashed people agreeing with him for the most part. What's Victoria up to? These vegans only have the mental capacity to make one video a month. I'm surprised Victoria even has a video ever. We should. This is why we should probably do these on. Someone just mentioned, like, can we not do vegan critiques every day, every week because I'm in Europe? And I don't think we will. I think we'll do these once a month or twice a month because, if Hitomi only makes a video once a month, I guess we have to follow her schedule. That's how it works. There was a really hot vegan, I can't remember her name, I saw yesterday. A new one. I was probably a dude in a dress, but I guess that's my type. Edgy Veg, we haven't seen her in a while. Did you guys see any, have you guys seen any videos recently you wanted to check out? There are actually a couple grocery hauls I wanted to watch. If vegan girls swallow, are they really vegan? They're desperate for nutrients if they're chugging down man juice. We are going full vegan today. Oh, that's a makeup video. Vegan makeup is Oh, do we really want to watch Abby Sharp? Do you guys want to see me get angry? What I ate while camping vegan. This is going to be good. What did you have to haul? 40 pounds worth of food for one day? What 14 years of being vegan taught me? How has this girl not died yet? She must be eating some steak. Damn, you're funny as hell. Yeah, how am I not super famous yet?
Hello, my name is Victoria. Welcome to my channel. It's a pleasure to have you here with me. Today I wanted to share with
Hello, this is Victoria. Welcome to my channel. It's a pleasure to have you here. Could you make a more classic Russian introduction?
you one of my favorite
can't get over
dessert
this.
recipes. It's vegan, gluten-free, no-bake brownies.
The
They're
ro- the
super
robot has
delicious
booted
and
up.
so easy to make. You will need about 10 minutes of your time, and they're full with good ingredients. They're guilt-free. You can eat them any time of the day that you're feeling something a little bit sweet. They're great as a snack, and I really hope that you're gonna enjoy this video. If you do, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I'm sending you lots of love and speak to you soon. To start, we need to soak our dates in hot water
Lots of love and speak to you soon. See, how sweet is that? She says lots of love and speak to you soon, and we're only 40 seconds into the video.
for about half an hour to soften them up. Then drain the water and transfer the dates in the food processor or blender along with a pinch of salt and blend till smooth. And by the way, we just created the simplest vegan salted caramel that is super delicious. But to make brownies, we need to
Hold on, I wasn't paying attention. That was way too fast. Dates, water.
Soak our dates in hot water for about half an hour to soften them up. Then drain the water and transfer the dates in the food processor or blender along with a pinch of salt and blend till smooth. And by the way, we just created the simplest vegan salted caramel that is
Vegan salted caramel. No. No, that is not caramel. You blended up some dates with some walnuts. That is gross. There must be a lot of bugs in there with all those dates. Can we come up with like a metric measurement for bugs in vegan food? Maybe we can call it the ant equivalent. I think that might be too low of a metric though. Maybe not. Maybe I would say this bowl of dates has about at least 40 ant equivalents. 40 ant equivalents is my bet. What do you guys think? Could be up to 200 ant equivalents actually. I wouldn't be surprised if it was actually several hundred ant equivalents. And by ant equivalent, we mean like one ant worth of insect parts by size. FDA has a metric for allowable bugs per serving. Is that what it's called? Oh, that's a good one. We could call, all right, forget, what did we say? Ant equivalent? No, it's going to be allowable bugs per serving. How many allowable bugs per serving is this in ant equivalents? I guess we do have to use ant equivalents because allowable bugs per serving doesn't specify the size of the bug. Ant equivalent sounds cute. All right, so it's allowable bugs per day measured in ant equivalents. Just like water is what the hell is water? It's total dissolved water is total dissolved solids in parts per million. So vegan food is allowable bugs in ant equivalents.
is super delicious. But to make brownies, we need to
Bug
add
lives
walnuts
matter.
and pulse it a few times. If you use food processor, you can add your cacao powder to the food processor as well and process
Yo, if you ate this, you could run through a wall. Cacao powder and dates?
till everything is nicely incorporated. Because I use blender, I just felt that it would be easier to stir it in by hand and you will get a very sticky dough on the end. You need to try to spread it as even as you can on your baking parchment and transfer it to the freezer. Meanwhile, we need to prepare chocolate ganache. It's so easy.
Hold on, she made it look like she turned it into a bar of chocolate. Did she? Yeah, that's what she did. It's like she wrapped it up, and then she because she wrapped this up in
dough
paper,
on the end.
and then she like
You
unwrapped
need
the bar of
to try to
chocolate.
spread it as even as you can on your baking parchment and transfer it to the freezer. Meanwhile, we need to prepare chocolate ganache. It's so easy. You only need dark chocolate and coconut milk. I used mostly coconut cream and just a little bit of coconut water that is left on the bottom of the can. You need to bring the mixture of coconut water and coconut cream to boil and then pour it over chopped chocolate and stir to combine.
There's no benefit for Frankie to get married in 2020. I can actually document my child's facial development and show everyone else how much more I know about nutrition. My 4-year-old will be like 4 feet tall.
That's all. It will come together super easily and
tall
it
for a
will
4-year-old?
create this amazing smooth chocolate sauce. Then I put my chocolate ganache in refrigerator for about 10-15 minutes for it just to become slightly thicker. It's just gonna be much easier to spread our chocolate ganache over brownie
Coconut
base
cream.
this way, and you will take it out from the
Coconut
fridge.
cream.
You will see how much thicker it is, and you pour it over the brownie base. You decorate it any way that you like. We need to place now our brownies back in the freezer for about 3-4 hours or overnight. I left them there overnight and we are good to go. We just created the most delicious, easiest vegan no-bake brownies. They're so good, and they're so good for you as well, with amazing antioxidants from cacao and healthy omegas from walnuts. They're a treat that will make you shine from inside out. I really hope.
The treat that will make you shine from inside out. This is the most underrated vegan channel. I've said this every day. I've said this every live stream.
That you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I'm sending you lots of love and speak to you soon.
I just can't stay angry at Victoria, despite her leaking my pictures to other vegans after I DM'd her on Instagram. I can't stay angry at her. So good. They are delish. Wish you a lovely evening. Thank you. It really is. My pleasure. Thank you for stopping by. I'm so glad that you liked it. See, who else gets this interaction on YouTube? Who else gets this interaction on YouTube? All right, we'll watch another video because I feel like Victoria should write me a check for how many viewers I've brought to her channel.
Literally anything what you want in life, you can manifest literally anything. You can manifest relationship, you can manifest career, you can manifest money, you can manifest everything what your heart desires, because you deserve it. If it is something interesting for you, please keep watching this video. Let's start from the beginning. I started modeling when I was 17, and before that I was very focused on school. So
I've been trying to convince myself that Victoria is a biological male, but I don't think that's actually the case. So let's move on.
Hi everybody, welcome back to another What I Eat in a Week. This week was filled with lots of super simple, delicious, and mostly healthy vegan food ideas, so I hope you enjoy. Monday morning started off with a bowl of muesli. How predictable. This is the cranberry one by the brand Cohen, with oats, whole wheat cereal, pumpkin seeds, and, well, cranberries.
How does anyone watch this shit? I'm falling asleep. The fucking music.
Also added some chia seeds here, as well as
the music. The boring voice.
some cinnamon, some chopped. As a little snack, I had some leftover polenta with the tomato basil cream cheese.
I should have just been a vegan YouTuber. Alright, this is better. This is better. It's lively. Loud noises to keep me awake.
Hello my beautiful friends and welcome back to another video. I hope you've all been doing very well. I'm really excited to be sharing today's video because today's video is one of your all-time favorites. This is what I eat in a week as a vegan. I hope that it inspires you to get creative in the kitchen, to try new things, and yeah, as always, all of the recipes that I feature in today's video will be down in the description box below, and if you do try any of them, make sure to tag me on Instagram so that I can...
What I eat in a week, vegan, gluten-free. It sounds like she puts a lot of effort into this. I don't know if these types of videos are the most engaging. I mean, at least the most entertaining, because all they do is, like, you guys don't want to, like, unless it's Victoria, you guys don't really want to watch people put together vegan recipes. How about that Norwegian Cornelia or something? I think she's been losing her mind lately. I don't know what she's up to. I haven't checked on her in a couple months. House tour Lofoten Islands, Norway. Gluten-free vegan waffles, homemade skincare plus serving. Yo, honestly, like, this girl must have, like, this is about the easiest life you could ever have. This girl has, like, I can't. She, like, moves somewhere new every year. She's always on vacation. She doesn't work a job. Maybe I'm just jealous. I don't know, we could watch our house tour. I don't understand. Do all these girls just want some rich Arab boy to beat them up and buy them a boat? Is that what they want? Will that make them happy?
On my way, send me on my way, on my way, on my way, on my way. I would like to reach out my hand, or may say, or may tell you to run.
Isn't the music like a little dramatic for
Lift me up with golden hand, or may say, or may tell you to run.
Listen, I can understand if you were like out in the forest or like out in the field, like in the meadow or some shit, but you're like in your backyard with a bunch of gravel and like cinder block and you're putting a bag of fertilizer in some plants.
Nobody say, nobody hand.
For the scraps, they make these. So beautiful. It's perfect.
What is with these pretty girls that live in castles, like trying to buy zero waste stuff?
For me, I got this secondhand sweater.
Buying secondhand sweater. Living in... Oh, I can't. Hold on, guys. We've missed a few donations. Cow, thanks for the $1, man. Does unseasoned cast iron pans leak toxins into food or iron? I think I said in my video I'm not a fan of cast iron that much. I mean, you're supposed to season the pan after you get it. And I mean, the pan probably does leak iron. I wouldn't be too concerned about toxins or things leaking from cast iron, but I mean, cast iron probably isn't as safe of a choice as carbon steel or stainless steel. Can brisets leak toxins? What do you mean? Do you mean bracelets? I mean, not to my understanding, unless you have could be some weird material. Amalgam fillings leak toxins. Oh yeah, I mean, there's plenty of information you could find online about people having a lot of health issues from mercury amalgam fillings. And then apparently there's like holistic dentists that can remove them safely.
Oh, okay, this is perfect. It's super oversized. It's an XXL champion. What do you call this? Crew neck.
This is a house. I thought this was a house tour.
the hallway. Very basic right now. I would like to have a lot of green plants and also just switch out every kind of detail into kind of beige, bright. Remove
Does
this.
anyone even know like how much this house costs in Norway? What is it, a few $100K?
Lots of mess here. And then obviously the main attraction.
I mean, it's right on the water. I would probably kill to live here.
And the view. And then we have the staircase that goes upstairs. And this is how crazy messy this place is right now, because all of these furnitures. I love you. Sunday's 5 years old. This is for the moment a little office. We're gonna make it into cute living room. Here to the right we have
She sounds exhausted just filming this video.
a bedroom, which is very messy right now. An extra bed there. Big closet that divides the room. Sleep together. And I will do like a full decorated everything.
I kind of feel bad. Is she really just so brainwashed that she genuinely believes in this vegan, like, minimalist nonsense, or is she just acting for her viewers to push this agenda? Her dad is a really famous doctor in Norway, apparently. No, I knew her family had money. I just didn't know the background of it. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That's probably where she got her money from.
Ew. Ew, wait, were my teeth looking like that the whole time? The spinach. It's doing me dirty.
Good morning. We have some coffee here today. I'm in a weird mood, I'm gonna be honest. I have hormonal acne and it's kind of painful.
I mean, I don't know if you could say this person looks healthy. In the middle of the summer, July, pale as hell, little chubby. She looks reasonable with the makeup on.
What up, you guys? It's Christina, and I am so happy to have you back in my kitchen today because I'm going to be sharing with you a What I Ate Today video during a hot Texas summer. Now, this video is going to be a little bittersweet because this is actually the last video that I'm going to be filming in this kitchen for a long period of time. And so I figured it would be appropriate for this last video in this kitchen for a while to be.
Are all these vegans going broke and downgrading? They're not making that vegan moolah, that dough cash anymore?
What I Ate Today video. And also, it is summer in Texas. I'm currently in Houston and it is hot outside. It is anywhere from 90 to 102 degrees Fahrenheit outside, which means I am consuming a lot of juicy.
How long can she stay on this raw nonsense? Apparently it hasn't been doing that great for her viewers. Oh wait, what's she selling?
Vitamin D I'm taking. I recently did because there's just so much you can do with your juice pulp. I love making celery salt. You can make hamburger patties, dehydrated snacks, crackers. There's so much you can do with juice pulp. I love that when you juice with the Nama, your celery pulp comes out so dry, and when you, like, it's just good enough to eat. It's a really great snack. That sounds so weird, but I love it. Cheers.
How bad does your diet have to be that celery pulp starts tasting good?
Yum. There's really just no better way to start off your day. Just want to add this into the video really quickly because people are always asking me what supplements I'm taking. I've actually included a blog post on my website with all the listed supplements that I'm taking. I recently did a separate YouTube video on this. But specifically today, I took my liquid vitamins from Sun Warrior. I mix up my supplements on a daily, which means I don't take them all every day, but I mix them up. So today, I took my fast absorbing liquid vitamins from Sun Warrior. I also took their trace minerals, and I took their immune shield. And I added 1 dropper of magnesium to that. I typically like to consume the liquid vitamins first since they have a sweeter taste to it, and then I combine the rest of the 3 and drink those separately because they have more of a tart taste to it. These supplements also include vitamins B12 and vitamin D3, which are commonly recommended to vegans. So if you feel like checking out the blog post that I wrote about what supplements...
So that's not raw. Like this, the reason I would usually check out Christina's videos every once in a while is just to see how she's not consuming a raw diet. So, you know, the supplements aren't raw; they're all processed chemicals that need to be heated. So, well, she's got more supplements. It's sad. You know, there's no way this is raw. Fermented pea protein, organic fermented brown rice. This is not raw either. It's such bullshit. All these vegans are now just trying to sell these bullshit powder products that don't work. Like sell a real vitamin or mineral, not just some bullshit. 1 year anniversary of purchasing raw milk cheese through Frankie's Free Range Meat. Thanks for all your support and access to true high quality foods. Hey, thanks for the $10 today, man. Yeah, we're looking forward to this year, and hopefully we get the farm going sooner than later. But things are really up in the air right now. I'm going to you know, at first we were kind of like really just, you know, all right, let's just buy the next farm possible. Let's just invest in it. Let's just go for it. And now we're kind of like a little skeptical about, you know, should we get the farm now? Should we wait a little bit? Not really sure.
This is your like ASMR mukbang moment.
If I was going to choose someone that was going to have a heart attack, like a vegan that was going to have a heart attack, it would have to be this girl or that kid, Healthy Crazy Vegan, because the amount of like fried, like high omega-6 just crap they eat is unbelievable.
Flavor. This is not the correct way to make Korean barbecue at all. Korean barbecue made from scratch is the best.
I mean, her whole channel is basically her whole channel is basically I'm craving meat, so let's make vegan food into meat. You know, I think over half her recipes are meat imitation.
Hey guys, I'm Abby Sharp. Welcome.
Gee, she looks worse and worse every video, man. Worse and worse every video.
To Abby's Kitchen. In today's edition of
Man, she looks like a dude in this one.
What I Eat in a Day YouTube
What happened?
Reviews, I'm going to be taking a look at Jenna from Sweet Potato Soul. Now, Jenna is a vegan chef, blogger, cookbook author, and YouTuber who is known for her vegan recipes and plant-based cooking tips. She's also a new mom to a super adorable 1.5-year-old girl and has documented her vegan pregnancy and what she's feeding her vegan baby.
Yo, who has time for these half-hour videos, honestly? Such bullshit. If I made half-hour videos, I'd like probably tank my channel.
Now, before we jump into my review today, a quick reminder to, of course, subscribe to this video and ring the bell so that you never miss out on any videos. I also want to start with my general disclaimer that the information in this video is for entertainment and educational purposes only, and you should always seek out the help of a registered dietitian or medical professional for your unique case.
So they can continue to make money off of you?
Also, please be kind in the comments, both here and on Jenna's channel. We need to keep this a supportive space for learning. Okay, let's meet Jenna.
We already had breakfast this morning, of course, since we've been awake since 5. Steel cut oats, did I make in the Instant Pot? I either have that, like I did today, or I have to have porridge. While I'm eating, I often feed her solids. Today she had sweet potato and spinach, and then also butternut squash.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a big piece. Be careful. And every morning I have my very necessary and delicious matcha oat milk latte that I sweeten with maple syrup.
Okay, so I love Janae's style for making oatmeal in the Instant Pot.
I'm genuinely curious how these vegan kids are going to turn out, like how low their IQ is, how brainwashed they are.
And let this be a PSA for all of the busy folks out there. If you haven't purchased an Instant Pot, you gotta get on that stat. It's great also for making baby-friendly foods as well because it makes everything super tender and soft really, really fast. As for Janae's breakfast, you all know I love oats in the morning, so this is definitely a great start. And steel cut oats are slightly higher in protein and fiber than rolled oats, with a slightly lower glycemic index as well, so that is great. I also heard her say that she's breastfeeding at the time of this video, and oats are commonly thought of as a galactagogue, aka a food that increases breast milk supply. Now, research-wise, there is no great evidence that oats actually make a big difference, but they are rich in iron, which tends to be lower postpartum, and they feel really like soothing and relaxing.
I'm not going to mention that the main thing you need for... We have a whole video on breast milk and breast milk supply and the nutrients you need in your breast milk. And to be a registered dietitian and say that oats are high in iron is basically a testament to how uneducated these people truly are on nutrition.
To eat, in my experience. So
why is her face like this though? Well, I don't know. I think she got some Botox or something. It doesn't look good.
That also may help with milk supply. Now, I didn't see her make this, so I don't know exactly what is in Janae's oats.
She looks like a fucking galactalug.
But it looks like maybe some raisins.
All these vegan boys are going to work at Femboy Hooters. What's Femboy Hooters?
Maybe some plant-based milk in there as well. She also has a matcha oat milk latte, which sounds super delicious. I love the addition of maple syrup. But of course, if she wanted to boost up the protein, which nursing does increase needs for, she could opt for some soy milk over oat milk, which has about 8 grams of protein versus 3 grams per cup, respectively. We could also add a little more satiating fat in there with some almond butter, flax, hemp, or chia seeds. But overall, this looks like a really hearty, satisfying meal. As for her babe, sweet potato, spinach, and squash all sound like a great starter meal for solids. And I get that not all moms are comfortable with baby-led weaning and prefer to spoon feed baby. But at 10 months old, which Janae says her daughter is...
Abby, why are you giving advice on how to raise baby? We did a whole video on Abby Sharp's pregnancy. She had like 4 miscarriages. She had to do IV fertilization like 3 times. She had to literally see over a dozen different doctors to get things straight. And she's giving people advice on how to raise a healthy baby. It's like a vegan giving you carnivore diet advice. A vegan giving you carnivore diet advice. Does white composite fillings leak toxins? I don't know that. I don't have an answer to that actually. I'm not really sure what those are composed of. Maybe someone in the chat knows.
Is in this video. Babe is definitely ready for some solid finger foods as well. So hopefully we'll see that mixed into the rotation. Let's take
I think what's happening is her nose is growing like Pinocchio for lying so much.
a look at snack.
I have a little pear. Seems like every time I leave the house super hungry because it just takes that long to get out of the house.
Oh my gosh, those are 2 of my absolute favorite fruits of all time. And fruit is definitely a great quick grab and go snack that you can enjoy while you're on a walk or as you're prepping lunch, as Jenny is doing. And you guys know that I always recommend pairing your fruit with a source of fat or protein. But also as a busy mom, I totally understand that sometimes you're just like on the go and you need something really quick and handheld and easy. And fruit is ultimately a nutrient dense, easy choice.
Fruit is a nutrient dense, easy choice. Okay. Fructose is nutrient dense. Okay.
Personally love Asian pears because they provide anywhere between 4 to 9 grams of fiber
fiber's
depending
nutritious.
on the size.
Oh, I got you.
But of course, if we threw in some nuts or seeds or something like that, made a little trail mix, this would make this an even more satiating snack.
Oh my God, is that Abby? What happened to her? That's what I just said. That's what we said at the beginning.
See what Jenna prepares for lunch.
So we're gonna make these citrus beet bowls.
That meal kit meal looks totally amazing. And I can totally appreciate a good meal delivery service as a busy breastfeeding mompreneur. And this particular...
All these moms saying they're busy, tell me exactly what the fuck you're doing all day. Please.
meal looks amazing and well balanced. We've got protein and carbs from the chickpea and millet. We've got healthy fats from the avocado and some lovely produce from the beets, greens, and citrus.
Some lovely produce from the beets, greens, and citrus? Is produce a nutrient? I'm confused.
I also love how this recipe features millet seeds as the primary grain, which provides a lot of nutrients that can be harder to get on a plant-based diet, like calcium and iron, plus it's a source of protein. A quick tip, of course, for cooking millet is to soak it overnight prior to cooking, as this will help to enhance the nutritional absorption and digestibility.
Is anything she says correct? Like, literally everything she says is wrong. Like, no, it doesn't increase the nutrient absorption. It reduces the anti-nutrient content. It makes it easier on the stomach. Literally everything she says is wrong. This video is 29 minutes. You could literally sit here and critique this for like 2 hours. Literally every single thing she says is wrong.
Let's see what else.
Is Abby chewing mastic gum? Maybe she watched my videos.
What are you eating, honey bunny? You had your milk and now what are you eating? Now you're eating peas and squash.
Love it.
How could you give a baby peas and squash? What in peas and squash is going to help a baby grow?
Good ginger tea, and it is considered a safe herb for breast milk production, so that's great. As for baby Jay's meal, looks like she's getting in some pincer grasp practice here, which is amazing and so important at her age. And since of course we want to focus on iron-rich foods in the first 6 months of solids, I'm happy to see that, sweet potatoes and peas and squash are actually all solid plant-based sources. So, yeah.
I guess Abby's bringing revolutionary information that humans can absorb the iron in plant foods.
Hey, Mama, let's take a look at snacks.
How's that working for you?
I'm hungry again. I just finished feeding the baby, so I'm gonna have some tortilla chips and hummus.
Oh, girl, I remember those nursing days. I mean, the hunger is sometimes just like insatiable. On average,
when you don't eat animal foods, when you're not giving your body the nutrition it needs, as soon as you digest that plant garbage, your body's going to tell you you're hungry again because you still haven't given it what it wants. Do grounding mats and stones work? I mean, grounding mat works. What do you mean by stone? I don't know what a grounding stone is. Do you mean stones that protect you from Wi-Fi? Those don't work. The main two things you want to do is protect yourself and reduce the Wi-Fi in the environment, and ground yourself. What's with so many dips? They have to puree their food in order to get in enough calories because it's not dense enough.
You burn about 20 calories per ounce of breast milk produced. And I have no idea what Jenna produces, but when my son was 10 months old, I was pumping around 45 ounces a day, which, if you do the math, is an extra 900 extra calories required. Your girl could eat. So on average, most nursing people need an additional 400 to 600 calories. And this snack ticks all the boxes.
I think we get it. Abby has no idea what she's talking about. Gets pushed in the algorithm because she makes people sick. We mentioned like the victim mentality, I think, in one video this week. And this type of advice, and these dietitians keep people in the victim mentality that they can't really change much and they should just do whatever and that every food's okay, without actually educating people on nutrition.
You are my favorite place to go.
Is this why I'm not popular on YouTube? I have to put up bullshit music and pretend I'm in the forest, in nature.
You're at the end of my favorite road. Above the rest, you're the best I know. You are my favorite shade of rose.
I don't know if I'm really hot or thirsty, but I just feel like jumping in a lake right now. Why do vegans love mason jars? Because they're like artsy and they fit in with nature.
A flower bed on my favorite stones.
So we're just drinking that right now. And I actually prepped a lot of our food today to make cooking easier. So I'll show you all the meals we're going to eat and how we're going to prepare them. So for breakfast, I prepped some muesli, and we're also having an apple. I already took a bite out of my apple because I was hungry. But muesli is really...
Isn't camping supposed to be about like cooking stuff on a fire or some stuff? Like maybe roasting some s'mores, not like bringing jars of vegan bullshit out? You need to add some drone footage. Do some drone footage when you have a farm. Seems like a lot of work.
Easy to prep. We just kept it in our cooler. I have a recipe for this on my blog, but you can basically put whatever you want in it. Muesli is great because it's super versatile. It's nice and creamy. We made it with hemp milk, and it's just a mix of oats and different nuts and seeds. So it's a nice filling breakfast, and you can make it as thick or as runny as you want. So this is what we're going to be eating. Just flicked off.
Stuck at sea.
Is that fish? Oh, no, it's a leaf.
Oh, there's seaweed!
There's what?
There's seaweed.
So we're just going to be using the leftovers of that. Sorry, my hands are so dirty, but you know, that's kind of what camping entails. And then here I pre-sliced some cucumber and carrot to make it nice and easy before we left the house. And then here I pre-baked some tofu and
a bunch of poison packaged in plastic. All right, this is pathetic. How much, like, doesn't this defy like the purpose of camping when you got to bring so much shit out there? Why don't you just stay in your house?
Hello, my beautiful rebels. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about what 14 years of veganism has taught me. So let's go. Number one, you can really make...
This is further emphasizing that these vegans will do whatever to stay vegan, pretend they're still vegan, regardless of how much their health is deteriorating in order to sell their products. Check out my ebooks, only available on my website. Become a Patreon. Check out the Flash Food app. Use this. My favorite. Use it. Like, how about you get a real job instead of poisoning people? That's all I have to say to all of these influencers. You know, it's one thing if you can build a genuine business and provide quality products to people, but that's not what any of these people are doing. They're all providing snake oil and misinformed dietary advice. Are you good at swimming? I can swim, but I haven't swam in a couple years. I probably get out of breath really quickly. Do not believe 14-year vegan. Well, we called out the what the hell were they called? The Anderson family claimed they were 20-year carnivores, and we called them out for being frauds and proved they were wrong, and they kind of disappeared. But it goes to show how easily people can make shit up and get away with it. You know, if I didn't call them out, they'd still be getting away with their 20-year carnivore bullshit. Their names were even mentioned on the Joe Rogan podcast. They were commonly used as anecdotes and reference, and as soon as I called them out on being frauds, they disappeared, and people stopped mentioning their name. It's ridiculous. the whole carnivore diet was actually kind of based on these frauds in a way. These people, the Anderson family, was used as a reference for basically every carnivore anecdote. Do I do cardio? No, I just spend so much time working out in the gym already. I don't spend extra time doing cardio. Italian vegan Italian meatballs. That's a disgrace. Being vegan destroyed my body. Why I quit after 8 months.
Hi, I'm Action Jacqueline, and in this video I'm going to share with you
Action Jacqueline, I like that.
My 7 reasons as to why I am no longer on the plant-based vegan diet. Whew, okay, I let it out finally. This has been something that I have been wanting to share with you for so long. I was a little nervous sharing it, to be honest, but I know that this video is going to provide so much clarity in all of the lessons that I have learned from being on this diet. Why did I become vegan? This is what people say is the epitome of health. So I was excited to see what it was like to be in my own body. And you know, at first it was amazing. I had so much fun going to restaurants all over the world. The food was colorful, and so there's tons of amazing, delicious food. But I said, you know, when I first started this diet, I was going to try it and do it for as long as it worked for me. And there came a time where it just stopped working for me. Now I'm going to explain to you though where it started to begin to go south in my body. Reason number 1 is bloating, and not just your little bit of bloating. This was chronic, painful bloating that was getting in the way of my life, getting in the way of me being able to move my body and exercise and feel comfortable in my own skin. It was so painful at times that I would just have to lay down. I did everything that you're supposed to do, right? Yoga, obviously, I did a lot of yoga. Go on walks, have water, have lemon water, have ginger tea, have peppermint, essential oils, massaging the belly. I did all of these things, but super puffy in my face. I got puffy throughout my whole body, my arms, my abs, my thighs especially, and I could tell that I was losing muscle definition. I thought that it was because I was in my 30s now that I was losing muscle definition, but no, it was from all of the inflammation, because once I adopted a different lifestyle of eating, protein. I found my muscle definition came back, which was really interesting. So
see, look at that. She went from that was her not vegan, and that's what she looked like vegan. You know, all these vegans look like shit. Lack of animal protein results in just degradation. Did you guys have any more videos you wanted to check out? Did you want to just do some questions for a few minutes? We checked these out already. Yeah, we should take like a week or 2 off of the vegan critique so that we can get some more content. Vegan chocolate chip cookies. Make it dairy free.
Ooh. We're making an easy vegan chocolate chip cookie recipe. This will 100% be your new favorite go-to cookie recipe. I'm telling you. Yeah. Welcome and welcome back.
Very high production value.
My name is Andrew, representing from the duo at makeitdairyfree.com. And this is no doubt one of the best chocolate chip cookie recipes out there. I'm just gonna say it. Vegan or non-vegan. Let me tell you why. Have you looked up vegan chocolate chip cookie recipes? You got 99 problems. Vegan chocolate chip cookie is number 1 to 99. So I was like looking a few up, and I got on one of them, and it had like 15 ingredients in it. I mean, I'm by myself scrolling on my phone like, why is this?
Watch the Goodful video about a vegan dietitian. Goodful will take this stream down. So if we start watching a Goodful video, the live stream will get taken down.
Look like my kid's Christmas list stuff. I move on to another one, and the next one is like refrigerate for 48 hours. First up, Do not underestimate the chocolate. I mean, the recipe is called chocolate chip cookies. It's basically the focus of the whole ensemble. As seen here, I use a few bars to dice up and toss in the dough. Since we're not using milk chocolate, this percentage is a good option to help balance that bitter and sweet that you get when combining this with the dough. When in doubt, just get some chocolate chips that you like most. To make the dough, we're going to start out with creaming together the vegan butter and our sugars. So quick tip, you can use coconut oil here, but do not melt it. Honestly, the best bet is to use vegan butter. It is essential in a good chocolate chip cookie recipe to include that buttery flavor. You're not gonna get that from any oil. Another tip is to
perhaps regular butter.
ensure that you cream these ingredients together. It will have a slight change in color and lighter texture, and you'll know you've done this correctly. This takes roughly about 2 minutes. Then your vanilla and your applesauce get added in and beat it for just a few seconds to combine. It should resemble something like this. Just be mindful not to overbeat. Time to move on to the dry stuff. One of the great things about this recipe is that it's one bowl. I mean, you do use some beaters and a spatula, possibly even a cookie scoop, but it's one bowl. Once you finish up adding your flour, baking soda, and salt, beat it until everything is combined. The dough will start to firm up. Decent sized cookies, probably could chocolate chips. Add to the top of like, share, and subscribe. First 6 people to make these, share it on their Instagram story and rate them.
They look really good. I mean, chocolate chip cookies are probably my favorite food before I went carnivore. And Adam makes really good. Adam made some really good chocolate chip cookies that we sold on Frankie's Free Range Meat a few times. What's the best setup for an in-ground backyard pool? I don't really know. Maybe some type of natural stone base with a saltwater pool. You mean margarine? Yeah, that's what vegan butter is. They just rebranded it for different marketing purposes. So if you guys want to chat for a few minutes, and then I'm gonna go, mainly because I'm standing under these hot lights and I want to turn my IC on, and I still got to film tomorrow's video. I still got to write some video scripts. I have to work out. I have to eat. Hopefully I can get to bed before 2 or 3 a.m. because I have to get up early tomorrow and go down to Frankie's Free Range Meat. So will the cookies be back? I mean, we don't have an oven right now in our new facility, so we don't really know. Craving for a salad. Could be a lack of fiber. Fiber is important for gut microbiome health for most people. Any plans to go to Italy with the family? Not really. Have things improved with how are things going with your dad? Have things improved? No. My whole family has been super negative in general, but my dad's been more and more and more negative. I don't really want to talk about it. It's just he's so overwhelmingly negative. I just try to avoid him. It doesn't matter what the conversation is. It always ends on a negative note because, some people are just like that. Some people are so negative and they're in the victim mentality and they don't want to change anything and everything is bad and the world is against them. And when they think like that much, you just can't. There's some really good advice I was given a couple of years ago. Who do you listen to? And that has really resonated with me, where you shouldn't really consider things certain people are saying. Frank, you have a Dutch fan base? Yeah, I think I got a nice fan base in most countries to some degree. When will the meat granola be back? As I said, we don't have an oven, so we don't really have a way to dry out the beef anymore. I'm going to try to get see if I can get something. Do you like having massages? I had some back problems, so I wouldn't call it a massage. I would go to like a massage place, like Chinese massage place in Manhattan, and it's pretty cheap. It's like $30-40 an hour for a massage. And I would just get someone really strong to just like dig their elbow into my back. That was my extent of massages, but like actual legitimate massage, I don't really like. I made your chocolate chip cookie last month. It was good, but very hard. Yeah, Adam made a much better recipe than I did. Can wrong energy to protein ratio prevent weight loss? Usually it's more nutrient related. Yeah, I mean, you could be overeating if your macros are incorrect. Should I keep algae levels low? As far as I know, it's best to pump through to a fish pond and create a waterfall, put clay in it. I don't, dude, I'm not a pool advisor. I don't really know about that. Video on whether it's still safe or not to eat seafood. Yeah, I probably need to do that. I think 9/11 was too ambitious and poorly executed by the elite, and it caused a large percentage of people to see through the deception. I mean, it doesn't really matter because the majority of people are so stupid and brainwashed that they go with whatever. It's too hard for them to believe that everything they've been told is a lie. I mean, look, I feel like I'm repeating myself over and over again from past videos and live streams, but you know, it's very obvious that people would rather sit inside and sit on their phone in an air-conditioned room, you know, than go outside and milk some cows. Like, they want the easy way out, and that's a lot of problems in life are caused by most people wanting the easy way out. But the chat's a little slow today, guys, so we will wrap this up. Thank you guys for joining me on the live stream today. We'll do a video tomorrow. Next live stream will be on Tuesday. I'll try to do maybe an Ask Me Anything next week on Sunday. What's your aesthetic and fashion? I just buy clothes that fit. Because when I was younger, my parents never really bought me clothes, and I never really had stuff I wanted to wear in school. So I kind of just, you know, when I was older and I could afford it, I kind of just bought like a full wardrobe of like basic stuff like jeans and t-shirt that I could wear. Jarrett, I mean, when people have general health questions, I usually say, hey, have you watched a lot of videos on my channel? My book is a summary. My carnivore diet video course is a summary. You know, I launched the audiobook last Sunday. So if people haven't looked at those resources, I suggest that. If they want to pay a little more and have an in-person consultation where I can work things out for them, we can do that as well. But for me to address, you know, you having dandruff, there's so many lifestyle and dietary factors that we have to go over. But yeah, I'll see you guys for tomorrow's video.